Hello, and welcome to the wrap up episode of Mortal Instruments, aka Yaoi Reddit. That's the name of the podcast. I am your host, Maggie.
And I am also your host. My name is Laura.
Yeah, and like I said in my beautifully long winded intro, Yaoi Reddit, that is the name of our podcast. Like and subscribe. It's an awesome podcast hosted by awesome people. More importantly, though, we, we just read The Mortal Instruments, and it was the worst time of my life.
Oh my God. I don't know. I think the only other equivalent of like it was a rough time was the Vampire
Vampire
Diaries.
Diaries.
But Vampire Diaries got better at the end when all the ghostwriters came in because all the books were short. But we did spend like 3 months reading them because there's 12 books. This wasn't 3 months, but it felt like it was.
It's so hard to. I don't know incest, what exactly I hate incest about this book, but
Incest.
incest. Outside of that, I'm like actually so pissed because I don't think I hate her writing style. I was like really engaged in the world.
Yeah. So like that's the thing. So T listeners, and I also might have said this on the podcast already, but I read Cassandra Clare's Sword Catcher, her like first non-Mortal Instruments book earlier this year, and like the cover looked awesome, the like concept was awesome, and I was getting like a lot of good like recommendations to me on like Instagram and things. So I read it, and it kind of had the same thing, like a lot of nothing happened, and it was just like a 600-page book where a lot of nothing happened. And like she contained herself a little bit more because she only followed two protagonists, but at the same time, like I just didn't get the why. Like, why are we focusing on these two protagonists? Why do I care? What's the point? And then she tried to drop some bombs at the end, and I was actually really mad for like what little payoff for how large of a book it was. And that's kind of how I felt reading Mortal Instruments. I felt like, okay, like at times I was like, okay, I'm in, we're building up to something, and then it's like wah, wah, wah.
Well, it's so interesting too because her strengths are not where a lot of fantasy YA writers' strengths lie. Great at world building. The dialogue, for the most part, I would say the dialogue towards the end gets very monologue play
Yeah.
y, but the dialogue is pretty fun. I think it really is just the why. It's like, why am I reading this? Why am I invested in this? And then I
Yeah.
get so frustrated because I really am in the world with her and I'm kind of having fun for the most part, but it's just so long winded
Yeah.
and I don't care.
Exactly. It's like if she condensed herself or even just like held back at times, because it kind of feels like she basically was like, here's all of my ideas and I'm going to execute them at all of them. And it's like, I don't think we needed to execute every single idea, especially for this. Like, it's a rich world and I liked a lot of it, but I feel like she made the world so big that she one kept adding to it when it was like, why haven't we heard about this before? Because she thought of it just then. And then it's like, the more you thought about it, the less it made sense. Like, for example, when I was so mad that she introduced like, oh, and there's a bunch of like other institutes all over the world. And then it's like, well, then why is the council made up of everybody who's just made in New York? To Maggie's counters, because New York's the greatest city in the world. But at a book lens, that doesn't make any sense.
I know, and she kept adding defying characteristics to the world that she had already created instead of, I mean, it's so boring and lazy to say this, but like living in it. Like the Praetor Lupus Werewolf Council. Why not?
Unnecessary. Why was that?
Why?
That was added in for like no reason. And then she killed them all because I think she realized she didn't have anywhere to go with what she created.
Exactly. That was just, if you want to hang out with the werewolves, then I guess just include more of their dialogue or have Clary hang out with Luke
Or
and
just make a book about werewolves. Like, I don't think werewolves actually needed to be in this world at all. I think it could have just been Shadowhunters and demons, maybe fairies. I feel like to get into this, like, thick of, okay, there's the Institute, and there's Shadowhunters, and there's demons, and there's different realms, and there's werewolves, and there's vampires, and it was too, I think it was just too much. I liked a lot of her ideas, but I think I wish she made, like, multiple different series out of this and just got her bag.
I think that's a really good point because if fairies were just the central enemy in the whole Downworlders versus Shadowhunters thing, and then werewolves and vampires weren't necessarily pushed to the side, but to me it seemed like they knew how to live in peace with the Accords,
Yeah.
and they were fine. And if we're doing that, we're focusing way too much on that. It should have just been like the fairies were out of control, and then that spiraled into, I guess, them taking side with
Yeah.
Sebastian. But that also, I guess, doesn't really make sense because Sebastian and Valentine's whole thing is getting rid of downworlders and like using slurs and calling them like lesser than.
Yeah, like I feel like it's just like we should have taken a huge step back. The book should have been about Clary finding out she's a shadow hunter, training to be a shadow hunter, and fighting demons. And Sebastian and Valentine's whole thing should be that they want to rule the demons and take over the shadow hunters. That's all we really needed. You could have easily made 6 books about that.
It's so
Like
true.
that's a huge world at minimum. And then to be like, but Luke's also a werewolf, and also Simon's a vampire, but now he can walk in the daylight. And there's Raphael, and now there's Maureen, and he's in a band. And there's also the Silent Brothers and the Iron Sisters that were introduced to in like book 4 or 5, because of course there's the Iron Sisters in books 4 or 5. Like it was just like it was almost too much yes and in my
Wait,
opinion.
and the crazy thing about Simon being a vampire is that just being a blip in the long series. He gets buried in his Jewish cemetery and he rises so fast, and that chapter's maybe 10 pages, and then he's a vampire. It's just,
Yeah.
it's done.
That's like a big like qualm I also have with this series is like, where's the like emotional stakes? Like Clary was really upset when like Simon was becoming a vampire, and then Simon became a vampire, and then it was like, it's fine. Like there was no Clary being like, how am I supposed to live with my best friend who's a vampire and I'm gonna get older and he's not? Like
And I guess sometimes he's hungry and sometimes he's not. He's actually pretty good at keeping control as a vampire.
yeah,
That
like
was like
Simon never
crazy.
like it's almost like Cassandra Clare has so much love for her world and her characters, which like I totally get, that she never wanted anything bad to affect them. And it's like, well,
Oh
well,
my
like
god, he gets the mark of Cain. He doesn't even have to learn how to be a vampire. He's just
yeah.
protected for an entire book. 2
Yeah.
books.
And it's like, and I feel like she was like, oh, like the whole Alec Magnus breakup is really going to like hit everybody hard. But in my eyes, I was like, yeah, I don't think it was ever going to work out to begin with, because he's an immortal warlock and he's an 18-year-old. Those are 2 very different things.
It also felt a little confusing. Do they end up together? I assume yes,
Well,
but
yeah, because remember he gave him his biography so he could open up to him more about like what's happened in his life.
oh, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of just going to be together till they can't be anymore, it seems like. But I'd hate to be Alec at like 56 with his like 20-year-old boyfriend, and he just kind of looks like that guy. So
Yeah, exactly. They keep going up to Magnus and they're like, "Are you okay?
yeah, like
Is this
he's
guy
giving sugar
bothering
daddy
you?"
energy, which like there's nothing wrong with giving sugar daddy energy, but that's not what this relationship is.
No, it really isn't. Oh man. Also, I just feel like Clary is a protagonist. I could not get behind, but I just there was nothing to grab onto with her.
I mean, again, I think this goes back to the emotional stakes. Like Clary never felt like worried that she was a shadow hunter. Clary never really cared that she had to like say goodbye to the world that she knew. She never grappled with it. She was just like,
Oh,
okay, I'm a shadow hunter now.
she didn't even care their mom was gone.
Yeah, there was a whole plot line in the first 3 books about like, man, I can't believe my mom's gone, I have to find her. And then she wouldn't even go visit her in the hospital, and then she got mad at her mom when she showed up. Like, I think like it just goes back to a lot of like there's a lot of emotional stakes that just don't make sense or aren't ironed out in spite of all of this.
Oh my god, truly. Yes, I know. Was there any part of the book that you did enjoy?
I liked the one book we got without incest. It was nice to drift away from that for a little bit. I think that was book 4 that there was no incest.
Was it? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think it was.
Well, and there was no incest, but
Because Sebastian's in a
Jace was
coma.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in
Jace
book
is
5,
weird.
yeah, that's when Jace was getting possessed, and then he got fully possessed in book 5. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
And then Sebastian said the weird thing about feeling Clary's nails on his back whenever she was like scratching them down Jace's.
Yeah, and that was in book 5, and that's when I really was mad again. Because like in book 4, I was like, okay, maybe
we can
we're
back out
drifting
of
away
this.
from this, and that like maybe I'll like it better when there's no incest. And then it was like, and there's incest again, and it was like, well, as a how old am I? 31, turning
31?
32. I'm turning 32 this year. As a 30 something, it's really hard for me to get behind children incest. Hot take. I know. I know.
We don't like that. We
At
don't
me
like
in the
any of that.
comments, at me online. I'll stand
I don't
by,
know
I'll
why that
defend my
reminded
point.
me of when we were reading Better Than the Movies, and I kept being like, I love the kids kissing. Make the kids kiss more.
You know, and here's the thing: it's like Maggie and I have gone on record that we want the teenagers to kiss.
Yeah,
We
we
won't say
love it.
anything more than we want the teenagers to kiss. And it was weird to not care about the teenagers kissing in this book, and actually vehemently be disgusted by it because majority of the kisses are happening between people who are either siblings or think that they're siblings.
Well, it also kind of befell the whole Twilight of repeating the same thing over and over. Do authors know that characters in love don't have to just sit around and say that they're in love in a million different ways, or like, you're my eternity, or I can spend forever with you, or
Yeah,
anything?
I don't know. It's just like I guess like we realize there can be conflict outside of the relationship, right?
Yeah, why don't they talk about anything else? I
Like, think about an ACOTAR, like Feyre and Reese, like once they get together, it's not like, but how are we gonna be together? It's like, great, there's a war. That's the conflict now. The conflict isn't we're gonna be together. Like it can just
yeah,
be like, great, we're together, there's a new conflict. Like,
I know they're independent of each other, and
yeah.
also, does the author just not trust that we are going to remember that they're in a relationship
Yeah,
if we're
I
not
don't
reminded?
know. And I and I really I know I keep harping on this, like we don't really get the feeling behind anything. What does Jace like about Clary? Because like they just kind of kiss one day at her birthday, and it's like,
Well, as the fairy queen does bring up to her, does he just like her because they both have angel blood? And is it ever really answered? Is it?
no.
I don't think it
Like
is.
that's the thing. It's like we get a lot of like, and this is my gripe with Twilight too. We get a I love you, I love you, I love you, but we don't really get like how they fell in love. Like,
No, he just decided to have a crush on her. And that the first book is so good because it's building to something, and then I really thought we were going to go into the second book being like, okay, they kind of kissed, what are we going to talk about? And then we got the incest plot line. And then
yeah,
so I feel like since she had written herself into an incest hole, she couldn't get out of
she
it,
dug
and
herself out and she went back in, Maggie.
she dug herself out. She went back in, but since she spent two books with the Forbidden Love, they didn't actually grow as characters. It was purely just
No.
lust, and then all of a sudden they're together. Built on what? Was it truly
Well,
just like restraint? Was it because they couldn't?
and again, going back to the emotional stakes, that nobody was ever grossed out by the fact that Jace and Clary would like make out or clearly like each other, or like nobody was ever like, hey, that's not okay. Everyone was just like, yeah, that's confusing. I get it. It's like, what? Why in this world? And Maggie, maybe you know more than me. Is New York pro incest because this character?
I haven't seen any kids kissing on the street yet, but if I do, I
Okay.
will report back. I will say, I think Simon was a little bit against it in the fairy court because he kept being like, this
That's
is
because they
weird.
were dating, though, Maggie. That's because Clary and Simon were dating at that point, and that he wasn't mad that she was kissing his brother, or her brother. He was mad that she wasn't kissing him.
I will also say that in that moment, the fairy queen is like, kiss who you desire the most. And it's not a question of them being brother and sister. It's a question of them desiring each other, because Isabelle, without missing a beat, was like, if it meant getting out of here, I'd kiss Alec. And it's like, Isabelle, no, 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 no. We're not talking about like just siblings kissing each other. It's who you desire the most. And they
Yeah,
also happen to be siblings. That's
yeah.
crazy.
This is Isabel saying, like, yeah, we all want to fuck our siblings a little bit.
She
Like,
didn't even process that part.
no.
It is truly, wow, just such a feat to think that we got to incest after 6 years. We were pretty close with Vampire Diaries, but that was
Well,
just
and we
because
were
that
also
was
kind of
Challengers
close with
more
Gossip
brothers.
Girl.
Oh, yes, that was who?
That was a
Blair and
stepbrother. That was a stepbrother plotline, though, which,
no,
as we know,
stepbrother.
is a gray area. No, I'm kidding.
I guess that's something I've learned apparently, is that they can marry into the family and it's fine. That's I'm learning a lot of media is out there around this specifically, and it's fucking crazy, and I don't ever want to
Yeah.
think about it ever again.
Yeah, like oof. Um No, and like the thing is like, and this might be crazy. I really do think if all of these books were 200 pages shorter, I might not be as mad as I am right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think even I could get behind the plot twist of incest if they clear it up so fast in the beginning of the second book. That's fine because
Yeah.
it was a great twist. But again, at one point, Clary's like, maybe Valentine's saying this to fuck with us, and then that's never returned to.
No.
Nothing is ever returned to in this book.
Yeah, like even in the fact in like the seventh book, or not the seventh book, it felt like seven books. The sixth book, when we find out Clary didn't tell anybody that Sebastian was talking to the Fairy Queen and working with her, and then it's like that's weird because why wouldn't you tell everybody what you know after coming back home?
I know. Why wouldn't you tell the mommy Lightwood? She seemed pretty trustworthy out of most of the adults. Or
Yeah.
Luke. Hey, Luke is right there.
Yeah, and I guess like I think a big thing that I thought was a weird swing when it came to this book series was giving so many like having so many adult characters. Like I get it. We need to have like obviously adults because they are teenagers, but the fact that it like consistently was like, and now we're going to follow like Luke's point of view and we're going to talk to the adults for a little bit and we're going to follow Maurice Lightwood's point of view, and it's like I don't need all the adults point of view. Like I'm a teenager in as a reader.
Me as well. And I am also as well. I know. I feel like
Me
we
as well,
got the
also as well.
history about the circle that one time, and then I didn't need to be reminded of it that often. I don't think after.
Yeah, well like think about it like when it, like the Hunger Games or even Twilight, like we have these adult characters that are kind of like presences in the background and then they do their adult things so often, and like I've never been like, wow, there needed to be more of Charlie's perspective in this
Well, that
book.
is true. They serve such a good purpose, which is they are just adults in the teen world.
Yeah,
Charlie is concerned about Bella, so he's calling her sometimes, and then it's all interacting with the parents from the
the
child's
kid
point of view.
child's point of view, and like that's what we needed I think in this book, but like we had way too much involvement of like now we're gonna do like Luke's gonna do a thing, and it's like I don't really care what Luke does. This book's not about
No.
Luke actually at all.
I know it really like the Luke and Jocelyn stuff. The Jocelyn is baffling to me because they just drop her so quickly in there, and she serves almost no purpose. And I don't get why she wasn't a bigger part of this. Like, if any relationship is going to be fleshed out, that you want the world to be fleshed out, why not Jocelyn and her daughter, who she
If
hid this entire world from?
exactly, if the main character does not give a shit when her mom wakes up after being in a coma for 3 books, neither does the audience.
It's
Like,
actually so crazy to me. That's how I would have liked to learn about this world. It's great that Jace and the Lightwoods are in it, and why not you start figuring out this world and then the mom wakes up and then maybe there's some conflict that's happening with the Lightwoods at the time. So then you have to go back and relearn
yeah.
everything with Jocelyn.
Yeah, it's just like this book almost like just made too many characters. Like by the like book 7 when we were checking in with so many people, like I was like, who the hell is Rufus? Who is Lily?
Oh
Who
my
is Gia
god.
Penhallow again? Which one are the who are the two girls? Like I could not keep track of all of these
It's
people.
really funny who you remember because Gia Penhollow, for some reason, I remembered her. Lily, who? No fucking idea who
She's
that
well, she
is.
becomes the new vampire head, but like again, who the hell is she? And like,
I also, she
yeah,
was like dropped halfway through the last one.
yeah, because she was introduced and then she like kind of served her purpose, and then she's like, "I'm in charge of the vampires now. Goodbye." Like, okay.
Oh my god, it was so nuts. And again, I just feel very disappointed by it because I did rock with a lot of her writing, but she just did not know how to
And
edit.
like I feel like I've never read a series quite like this where it's just like we're built again, like we're like the buildup has such little like reprieve. Like even when in the like the finale, I'm like, okay, we're building up like that we're gonna defeat Sebastian, we're gonna destroy the Mortal Cup, and we're gonna save the Undarkened. And it was just like, well, we defeated Sebastian and we very quickly threw the cup into the rune circle, and then actually all the Undarkened die.
Wait, also the
And
last
now we
book,
have to deal with Simon that we have to get out of the underworld. That's the big plot line now. It's like, I don't, what? No.
that's such a great way of saying it, that you really do never get a breath, because the first, or not the first, the sixth book started off so fast and so hot, and it's like, whoa, okay, how are we going to keep this tone? And we don't. And then there's just so much war planning that you're like, why wasn't the war planning at the beginning? Why are we jumping in with big war, death, and then we're circling it back to go strategy instead of peppering it throughout? I don't know. The tone
And
just could not keep up.
it's the cutting between scenes constantly is really hard as a reader to get engaged with, because when you're constantly in the middle of like 20 to 30 page chapters cutting to different points of views every 1 to 3 to 7 paragraphs, it's so hard to keep track of. It's so hard to become engrossed in. And maybe that's also just because we had to take notes during it, but I just found myself being like, what? Like, why can't we just have chapters focus on people and then shift the chapters? Like, why does this all need to be in one chapter?
Well, I agree with that too, because the use of the short passages never ended where they should have ended.
No.
It's fine if she was going to like cut it all up like that, and then maybe everyone has their own three little vignettes, and then they get together in the fourth scene, they meet up, and all of that is working towards something that involves everyone. That's fine. She would cut it up. And I remember one that really pissed me off was in the fourth book. They're about to reveal what they're looking at in the room, and then they're like, and when we turned the lights on, we couldn't believe what we saw. And then it went to a new point of view, and I was like, just tell me what you see. I don't
Well,
need the whole build up to know there's 100 abandoned babies in cribs.
yeah, no, and it's like like things like that really took away all of the suspense actually, because when you're like, okay, something crazy is about to happen, but let's check in over here with what Luke and Jocelyn are up to. It's like, let me live in a moment for a second, please, so I can really take it in. If we really had just focused on like the demon babies in that book, that actually is an insane plot line, but we didn't focus on it really at all.
No, we didn't. I mean, again, I just think it goes back to not trusting your writers, or not your writers, your audience. So you are hand holding throughout the entire thing and
Yeah.
setting it up for a plot line that you hope sticks, but instead you're just losing momentum. And then also having relationships where they have the world's longest fucking monologues about how much they like each other. No one talks like that. If you're in a relationship and you're always talking about how much you like your partner, I'm sorry, that's fucked up. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm avoidant. I would never do that. I would maybe compliment them on our anniversary.
And that's a huge maybe, people.
And that's a huge maybe. And no other time during the year. I would
No.
never
You
compliment
get
them.
one. You get one day.
Every single day, I'm not going to be like playing basketball defense so they can't get to work. And I'm like, I love your eyes. And what's so great about you is you're so brave. You've gone through so much. It's like,
Well,
it's
like,
7:30 a.m. I need to go to work.
and like, especially in like a book, there's so much you can do to like build the romance and build the yearning. And like, that's like the hard thing with me about like Twilight and now Mortal Instruments. Like, there's no longing or yearning if it's just like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's like,
I know. Jace pissed me off too. He flipped his coin so hard. So he starts off as a hard ass, and then he's got all this teasing and jesting, and yes, that's so much fun in a romance. So we get that, and then all of a sudden he's this soft little idiot. All his running joke is just commenting on how hot he is, and then he's just self-conscious. I don't know why that pissed me off.
it begs the question. Did like Cassandra Clare suddenly realize she hated Jace as a character because he was supposed to be this kind of like huge ego action star, and he kind of became like little whiny baby bitch boy like very quickly.
Remember, was it the 5th episode where we talked about all of the icks we get from him? Because I got so many icks.
Like, he's just ew. Like, that's the thing where it's like, I actually feel bad that Clary wound up with Jace, because I really think she should have a little bit more self-respect.
I think so too. I think that she would sweep as the village whore of New York City. She should go out. I feel like Jace is someone that you date, and then like 5 years down the line, you're watching him blow out the candles on his birthday cake, and you're like, that's kind of ugly. And then you're like, wait, why am I thinking that? Why am I getting the ick about that?
Jace
That's
is
such a
kind of
nice thing.
someone-
Do I just hate him?
Yeah, Jace kind of feels like someone you're like initially attracted to, and at a surface level, you're like, wow, he's got such like a fun and unique personality. And then the more you get to know him, you realize finally how annoying he is, and he's getting carried through life on his looks. And then you realize there's actually nothing worthwhile about being with him.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, men, be in touch with your emotions, but don't get possessed. That's disgusting. Women will not find you attractive if you get
Like, unless
possessed.
she's Clary. Clary will still find you attractive. Actually, she'll find you more attractive if you got possessed. So maybe
I
they
have
are a match made in heaven, because that was
my
also crazy.
my other fun thing about this book is the passage of time. Can we talk about that? Because that was so
Nothing
funny.
pissed me off more than realizing like a month had passed when it's like they've been doing stuff and going to sleep constantly. Like,
Oh
I
my
wish
god.
so hard one of these books took place 6 months later. Like, that's all we needed to do.
I feel like it took place all of it in one calendar year. They
No,
would be
actually, it
like
all took place in one weekend, Mickey.
they would have 3 days would pass and that was the entire book and you're like, are you serious? And then by some point I felt gaslit as a reader. I started trying to keep track of when they would go to bed because I was like, no way is this happening. They're like, and then 2 days ago, no, 2 days ago is when Simon was turning into a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like, yeah, like that's the, like things like that. I feel like some fine, it's weird to say in a book with so much stuff in it that I did need some finer details to like kind of tie it all together. Like the fact that she one never kind of gave us like a good time frame for things, and also in my opinion never really described how old certain characters were fucking weird to me. Like a lot of the time, like we got like Maureen was 14, but like we would meet people and I'd be like, are these people older, younger? Like for a while I was like, how old is Raphael appearing to us? Is he also like 15 or is he like 22? Like that would be helpful for me to picture this character a little
You
bit
could even
more.
just guesstimate. You could be like, they look to be in their mid 20s, mid
Yeah.
30s, and then I have a range.
No, and I spent so long being like, is the fairy queen, is she a tiny fairy or is she a big fairy? Like, I would love to know, like, even just size reference of like, is she like a sprite or is she like a full woman?
But there was no time for description because the only description for her was she has to talk to her soldiers naked, and she's really comfortable with herself to do that. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what trait does this serve me? What do I need to know this
Yeah,
for?
it's like what? Like again, it's like that also doesn't really like. Am I supposed to fear this character? How? What am I supposed to think about this character? Am I supposed to fear her? But it's like now I just think like, oh, she's kind of a horny character, but they all
Yeah,
kind of are.
they really truly are. God, the thing about descriptions too, and it's so funny that like not keeping a timeline or understanding the passage of time as a writer, I don't, it's so wild to me because again, I liked the world building of this, but world building is also small details. Great, you can describe the town of Idris so well, and I can visualize it, and it's awesome. What fucking day is it? Is it
Yeah.
nighttime? Is the sun going down? Like,
Execution is so important. We talked about this when we did Lightlark too, where we're like, the first book of Lightlark is an amazing concept, but the execution got so muddy and confusing at times. And it's like, it is so important. It's such an important part of world building to have a grasp on how to explain it to somebody.
yeah, exactly, because you have to create rules for that world, and then you have to abide by them,
Yeah.
which is big and small all the way up and down.
Yes.
Simon becomes a daywalker because I swear to God, she didn't want to deal with, oh, fuck, well, now
Like,
I gotta
yeah.
figure out
Oh,
when
Simon
he's
could probably
around.
die. No, now he can't. Like, okay.
I know. Oh my goodness.
It's
Ay,
just
ay, ay.
it sucks because again I agree with you. Like I like a lot of her concepts except for the incest of this book. I think it's a cool concept to have like a group of people who fight demons that are walking among the real world. At a base level, that's a great concept. But the execution and the introducing of just every possible thing and spending so much time on not the main issue like it sucks out the life of what we're
I
taking in.
know.
And it's like I'm sure there are readers out there who kind of love turning the page to every single aspect and every single character and every single possible monologue that they can have. I won't say thought because we don't get many thoughts, we just get talking. But
Talking.
that's not the type of reader I am.
Well, okay, my other dilemma with this book too is there was a lot of outside source and I really wanted that. Like she quotes John Milton's Paradise Lost so much in this book and then she quotes a ton of other texts and clearly so funny. I think in the third episode is when I'm telling you it's awesome that this has all these Bible references and is kind of biblical. And there's so much of rubbing up against the real world and like the lore and research that she wants to include and then not doing it at all and
Yeah.
then just sticking like too hard I think in a fantasy world. That's great, I love the fantasy world, but I'm like fuck, this text is so rich. Like I don't know, why not like give me a bit of background on like all of these like mythological folklore that you're pulling from?
Yeah.
That'd be really easy and really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, again, it's like, I feel like just too much. She needed to pull back on some things. Like that's the thing. I will never be mad to read a 5, 6, 700 page book, but it better be fucking worth my time. And I can confidently say every book that was over 500 pages was not worth my time because like it was just way too much focusing on too long of some things and then just suddenly introducing other things. Like the entire book with Lilith, the fact that we don't get introduced till Lilith, the main antagonist of the book, till when there's 100 pages left in the book, just didn't make sense. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's a way to do all of this, but in my eyes as a reader, the pacing and execution of pretty much everything was like wonky as fuck.
It really was. It was really disappointing. I
Yeah.
don't know. You can do realistic stuff well. I'm still on the biblical stuff. Like, I don't know. I learned a lot about Greek mythology when we read Percy Jackson. And
Yeah, again, it's
also
how do
there's
you deliver it to the masses? Like there was such a way to like again execute everything, but I just don't think we got the right explanations.
no, I really don't think that we do. Man, what are some scenes that you enjoyed?
Oh. Oh yeah, we have been kind of doing a shitstorm here. Things I liked.
I know. I like that the
I
first one I
liked Oh,
yes,
sorry, go
go.
ahead. I was going to say I liked the I think the strongest for me was when we were really shifting between like 2 points, which was like the one group doing the demon salt circle to kind of try to figure out how to sever Jace from Sebastian, and then just focusing on
Mm.
Clary. I think that was the strongest writing, and I think that's book 5 because it wasn't introducing too many plot lines. And one of my favorite scenes was when the cat ran through the circle and
Oh, yeah.
and had to talk to the demon. Like that was there's some good writing in this, and there's some good passages, but they get kind of clouded by everything else.
I did think a scene that I really liked that felt very shocking to me was the one. I mean, when Valentine dies is crazy. I wasn't expecting him to stab Jace. Jace dies a lot. He is
Yeah.
the luckiest
I
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Wow.
but even so like even like that felt not impactful to me because like 30 pages before that we have a 40-page fight scene between Sebastian and Jace, and then Valentine dies
Oh
in like
yeah.
a paragraph with like a page of buildup. And I was like, why did we spend so much time on not even the big bad fight? We spent the time on like the lead up fight.
I know they really did away with Valentine so fast, but the visual imagery of him calling the sword to him and then stabbing
Cool.
Jace, saying "I'm sorry," that was really,
That
really
was cool.
awesome. I did enjoy that. What was your favorite book? Least favorite book? I think you
Um,
said four earlier. The one
I
that
think it was
had no
5. 4
incest.
was the one with Lilith. 5 was the one with
They're
Sebastian
bound.
and Jace tied together. I think 6 has to be my least favorite solely because it was so long and it didn't hit as a finale for me. I might even just say book 1 as my favorite. I think that felt like the most concrete as an idea and it didn't feel too big yet.
Yeah,
I would say
I
book
would.
1 or book 5 would be my favorite.
I would agree because I think when I was reading book one, you were like, "There's a lot of dialogue in there," and I was just tearing through it. I think
I
I
was
was
having some fun
so
in book 1. I was like, okay, there's a lot of dialogue, but like we're getting there. And then it just like by book 2, I was so done.
yeah. Book one was pretty thrilling for me, and then the twist was absolutely batshit crazy, and made me not want to keep reading, which sucks. And then I also liked book four because it felt the most grounded. In terms of we're not introducing too much. The baby crib thing though did piss me off when they
Yeah.
had that as the reveal, but they didn't do it for like two chapters. That was annoying. And then obviously book six sucked ass. Book
Like,
5 was
am
kind of
I-
fun when Jace was evil and they went to the club and they did drugs and he was trying to fuck.
that
I
was
was
book
gonna say his
5.
sister.
See, book 5 had some bangers.
Yeah, that was. I was like, okay, Jace is kind of evil. Also, Clary seemed really into it. Like, I think they kissed the most in book 5.
Yeah, I mean, Clary was like the most attracted to Jace when he was unfortunately Sebastian, and I do think that's a problem.
Oh my god! I mean, yeah, he really is. Well, he wasn't really Sebastian. I guess he was just evil Jace. Jace in little cage in chest, kind of
No,
seeing what's going
Jace, when
on.
Jace came to, he said, that guy you're hooking up with is not me.
Which really
That is canon.
you gotta question some things about yourself. You're like, oh, so if it's not, am I just sexually attracted, physically attracted to this person? I'm probably not emotionally attracted to this person if I really want to bone, not him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. Um, uh,
Well, Mortal Instruments, thank you so much for such
we're
a great
wasting our
ride.
time. No, I'm kidding.
Such a great ride. We're hoping that Clary gets a sponsorship with Plan B pretty soon.
Yeah, good for, yeah, please. I also hope that like Clary gets a therapist because I do think she has some things she needs to talk through.
Oh my god, yeah. Her and Jace
Actually, all
separately.
of them.
Yeah. I know. Isabelle's got to talk about her parents getting divorced because that seemed to really cloud her judgment on
Yeah,
everything.
crazy.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
I feel like I feel like I can get a headache if I talk about this book series for too long because it's like, oh yeah, I thought of this other thing like that happened that we kind of forgot about. But
No, that's so true. I feel so dehydrated thinking.
yeah,
and
I
talking
feel like
about it.
dehydrated is a good word because I feel like why am I so thirsty all of this?
I am too. I really do think that this is one of our final thoughts that is probably one of the more heated ones that we've had. Like we're
Yeah,
just dot, 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 dot.
I don't think like we've both been at like this level of like somehow depressed and dehydrated after.
That's a really good hey disclaimer for this season. Mortal Instruments, you're going to be really depressed and dehydrated reading this book.
Yeah, like why is it so like it's just I don't know what
That
it
is
is.
true, but we were rapid fire going back and forth, which I don't think usually happens in final thoughts. So
No,
pretty
and
fun
I
stuff.
unfortunately think Meggie and I could probably talk for another 15 minutes, just in circles around what happened in this entire
I know.
series.
I think at this point we would be repeating ourselves.
Oh,
Though,
100%.
so I
But that's how
think
fired up we are, and I think it's time. I personally think it's time to
I think it would be time to
lay to rest.
lay it to rest. Shut the pages on it.
We did it. We read thousands of pages, which I'm also still so mad about. Like this is probably like 3,000 pages of books when you add it all up together. Like that's crazy. But I digress. Maggie, what are we doing next season for our 22nd season?
Wow, for our 22nd season, thank you so much for asking. So we're actually just going to dive into, the really popular universe. We want to know what's going up with the hockey universe. So we're going to start with Off Campus.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah, we
we're
are.
gonna read the 5 off-campus books. We're not doing the companion books yet. We're gonna the OG 5. I'm excited. We're gonna dive into a little bit of romance.
Guys, they're really horny. Yeah, we're gonna figure out the romance genre for a little bit, but we swear to God, we're gonna be back in because YA is our bread and butter. But yeah,
we always love to drift a little. Let us drift. We'll always
we
come
do
back.
love to drift. I don't even know if Mortal Instruments technically counts as YA. Is it fantasy?
Does.
Okay.
It's YA. I mean, it's YA fantasy.
We're kind of all over the place. And Laura also is reading fantasy books a lot this year, and she's loving them. So
yeah, maybe again, more to come from us. We're gonna keep drifting because we did You one season. Like that was fully just like nonfiction.
It's so funny because they all feel YA adjacent, which is kind
almost
of
like YA and is just books, and books are also just books. So
I would love to go back to the You season. I don't know what propelled us to do that. Anyways,
we have fun. Yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. To come back for off campus, we need to plan everything. I have the books on my shelf, and Maggie needs to get them still, I'm sure. But we'll do it.
I will send the EPUBs to my Kindle, but first, we're gonna drink some water.
Yep, and you should too. Take care, everybody.
Bye now.